covering this game for us on talkSPORT. We're delighted to say that Adrian Durham joins us live from Helsinki. How is Helsinki treating you, Adrian?
It's treating me very well. The temperatures are pretty similar to what it is in the UK, so no big problem there. I've been here a couple of times before. It's a very nice city.
It is.
But we are actually staying in what used to be a prison. So I heard a knock on the door at about 2:30 a.m. and I was very worried, but I'm okay.
Many would say you should have been locked up years ago.
Yeah.
Hey, tell me about, what do you think? Because there's a lot of reaction to Lee Carsley and the defeat and not committing himself or being quite vague on lots of issues.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one for Lee Carsley to handle, but in the light of what happened on Thursday, it's right that these questions are asked, because if you think about what might have happened, the 6 Nations League games are meant to be games that England on paper should win. Now, they've gone and lost one of them in pretty shambolic fashion. But if he won all 6 games, does he sort of seamlessly and almost without any kind of statement from the FA just slip into the role and take us to the World Cup? Well, probably, yeah. But he's picked a very weird side, in my opinion. He said he's come out and defended it, saying, you want to try different things, because if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to end up with the same results. And I kind of understand where he's coming from, but it all went horribly wrong. And now, obviously, people are questioning not just his coaching ability to do the England job full time, but they're also questioning how he handles the media as well. Now, as it happens, I think the round of interviews he did, particularly the one with Faye, which is that question that she asked about whether he'd applied for the job, has kind of gone viral, if you like. And fair play to Faye for asking the question that's made the headlines. But I think that he's handled all of that really well since following on from the evening of the defeat. I didn't think he handled it particularly well. So I mean, he must have known beforehand it's a very difficult job in terms of the scrutiny. If he didn't know the full extent of that, he does now know about it. So it's a strange one. I think if he was offered the job, he would want it and he would take it and he would feel like he'd have to take it. But I actually understand why he hasn't applied for it, because what you're doing is you're asking a lot of people to scrutinise every aspect of your life and criticise it. And I don't think he's necessarily up for that.
And you know what? I was looking back on Gareth Southgate and when he was the interim manager, and he was asked, obviously similar, about would he want the full-time job. And he said, I don't think it's as easy as saying, yes, I would like the job. He says, I'd also like to see how it affects my family, my health as well. He said, my agreement is to take these 4 games and to keep some continuity. And then after that, there will be a review. So I think it's quite standard. It feels that interim managers are going to go through this process of, I'm employed to do a job for now, and what happens after that, we will see. And perhaps that's what Lee Carsley is saying.
Yeah, I think so. It's all a bit of a, from Lee Carsley, it's a bit of like, everybody calm down. It's not an audition. I haven't asked for the job. I haven't applied for the job. Let's just follow it through and see what happens. He's said that tonight it will be more conventional. It'll be a different lineup. It won't be so bold tactically. So let's see. He should listen. Ireland came here and won. England went to Ireland and won. Theoretically, England should come here to Finland and win the game well. So let's see what happens. But ultimately, I think they've got a big decision to make, and I do wonder if the people who make those decisions at the FA are ready to make a big decision, because they've shown no signs of it yet.
I was making the point earlier that organisation will always win over a team that isn't so organised. And, I've mentioned a number of teams from France 98 to Argentina in 86, sides that had flair and had the ability, but you have to make tough decisions. You might have to pick between Palmer or Foden in that 10 role, or even Bellingham. That's what the England manager's job for me is, what you have to do. You have to make really tough calls, and you can't just go, I'll shoehorn him in there and mess around. It was a bit like a Harlem Globetrotters performance of, or a five-a-side, we'll do this and see what they do. And at the end of the day, England didn't have any flair in their performance against Greece at all. No one's really talked about that. They didn't create loads of chances. They didn't hit the post or hit the bar, or the goalkeeper produced loads of saves. None of that happened.
No, you're right. And I think that I heard somebody on talkSPORT after that victory, I can't remember who it was, saying that there was nothing wrong with the attacking side of the game. Well, there absolutely was. They had so many attacking players, but we didn't carve them open. We couldn't break through They're very well organised defensive strategy. They had a strategy to attack as well. They created maybe 4 or 5 really good chances to score, had the ball in the net 5 times, 3 were ruled out. They were way better. Greece were brilliant compared to us. They were fantastic. And you're right, it's because basically, I don't want to be horrible to Lee Carsley, but he picked a rubbish team. It wasn't a balanced team at all. And that wasn't a hindsight. I said before the game, there's no defensive mindset in midfield. You've got fullbacks who can't cover as centre-backs, and that's something that Gareth Southgate did very well. And you have no striker. So how's Ollie Watkins feeling right now? For me, there was not a lot right with that 11. And that was before the game. I wasn't a fan of it at all. And I hate to be proved right on that because I want England to be successful. But it was clear to me that that was never going to work. Now, what you say there about you've got to make some bold and difficult decisions. Me personally, I love Phil Foden, but it's not a difficult decision to leave Phil Foden out. His England record is pathetic. He's brilliant for Manchester City. He's absolutely terrible for England. Now, unless you've got an England manager who's got a special plan that's going to get the very best out of Phil Foden, on his England record, Phil Foden cannot get in the England 11 ahead of somebody like Cole Palmer, for example. That's my view, and it seems fairly obvious to me, that one. I don't know why there's a big debate about that. Phil Foden's got to do better for England.
Carsley has said in order for England to win something, they're going to have to make changes to what has come before, notably under Gareth Southgate. He says, we have the ability to try something different. He says, I made those changes the other night, trying something different. I'm not put off by that. I don't want to sit back in a month's time with regrets that I was too safe. He says it's an opportunity for him, the players and everyone else to try something different. But as you were alluding to there with this game tonight, Adrian, you don't expect it to be as radical. And I imagine you're expecting Harry Kane will start.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And he will have probably Angel Gomez will start in midfield as well. It will be more like a proper balanced team. But I think there's something a bit more worrying. He's certainly not going to be considered safe after that Greece selection. Lee Carsley. There's something a little bit more worrying about it. And that was the way we conceded the 2 goals we conceded. If you look at how players dangled legs, weren't really prepared to commit physically to a defensive challenge. I'm talking about Bukayo Saka for the first one, for example, as well as Cole Palmer. The 2 of them just basically waved the Greek player through. If you look at players colliding with each other in the box and falling over, not clearing, not putting the boot through it just to clear the ball when it's in front of goal and about to be put in the net. And that makes me question commitment in the heat of the moment to the cause. Are they prepared to do it? They can come out afterwards or before and say, oh yeah, we love playing for England and all that. We'll show it on the pitch when it really matters. And I'd apply that to all players, not just those involved in conceding the goal. And I'd even apply it to Jude Bellingham. I did my usual marks out of 10, and it's kind of gone a bit viral on Instagram, the edit they did, which is great. But a lot of people were critical that, I think I gave Jude Bellingham a 2 or a 3 out of 10, and people were saying, hang on, he scored a goal. Just because you score a goal does not mean you've played well for 95 minutes. And I don't think he played well at all. If there's going to be some leadership in that team, I don't really see John Stones as a captain. I'm looking to somebody like Jude Bellingham. Yes, he's young, but if you're waving your arms to the crowd to get them going, show some leadership, grab the team by the scruff of the neck. It's more than just slotting a ball into the back of the net. You need to do more than that when you're in the heat of battle.
Aid, I'm glad you weren't doing ratings when I was playing.
You're good for Gillingham. I'm joking, mate. I'm joking.
Well, look, Adrian, enjoy what Helsinki has to offer until you're needed later on. Thank you for now, though.
Cheers, Aid. Bye.
Love the show. Cheers. Thank you.
Weekend Sports Breakfast with Natalie Sawyer and Tony Cascarino. Sunday mornings from 6 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.